Welcome to another episode of Talk with Confidence. This is where we have inspirational conversations with inspirational people. Today we have a truly inspirational person. Her name is Bathabile Mashigo. She's an actress, she's a producer, and she's an entrepreneur. Let's welcome her. Bathabile, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for making time to be with us. We're really honored to have you here on Talk with Confidence. All right, I'm gonna start by pressing the rewind button.
Okay.
Let's rewind to 10-year-old Bathabile Mashigo. Where does she live? What does she love?
10-year-old Bathabile Mashigo lives in Soshanguve,
Okay.
Block L.
Shut up.
Sure, at 10, I was a normal girl, ordinary girl, went to school, local school.
Okay.
So I walked to school with my younger brother. I went to Metsing Primary School.
Okay.
I did what, normal 10-year-old girls did, played with my friends. Diketo, Vigusha. No, my thing was Maskitlan.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, that's that. At 10 you don't think about the future. So it's hard to look back. I was just a normal, regular black girl in the township. Yeah.
And when did the passion ignite, or when was the passion ignited for arts, for drama?
So there's my version, there's my mother's version, and
Okay.
there's the story.
Wow. Okay. Version 1, version 2, and the real story. So which one are you starting with?
I'm gonna start with the actual journey.
Okay.
In high school, still in Pretoria, Loreto Convent, we had a class every Tuesday after break, speech class.
Okay.
And our teacher, Miss Lowe, was a drama graduate of Technon Pretoria of the time. And she would, when she didn't know what to do with us, or she just wanted us to play around, she would get short plays for us to do in class.
Wow.
And one day she had a brilliant idea that we should do Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Okay.
But this Snow White was a biker Snow White, so we were cool in leather jackets,
Okay.
and, that kind of thing.
Nice.
And she, one day after rehearsal, she called me to the side and said, look, I think you have something there.
Wow.
What do you want to do when you were growing up? And it was back in the days of marketing and advertising. I'm like, I'm going to do marketing and advertising.
You're going to be the cool kid.
At GCT, And she was like, you know what? Just don't waste your time. Don't even go to study at Technon Pretoria drama class. They have open days. Get your parents to take you there and audition. So we went. Normally, what they do, luckily my father, who wanted me to be a doctor, thought maybe teacher knows best, and he took me in, and they auditioned me.
Yeah.
But I was in standard 8 back then. Today I think it's grade 10.
10 years.
Which is something that they don't do. Usually they wait for you to be in matric, and when you do applications, and they're like, we like you. When you're in matric and you still want to study, you won't have to audition for us. We've seen you come and study.
Beautiful.
So I always brag that I was invited to study at Pretoria.
By invite only.
Invite only. Nice. So that's when it started. Now the story going back, I realized, Mara, maybe I was always a storyteller. I would always play Maskitlane, and boys don't literally listen, but the guys in my class would say no, and then what happens? And then
nice.
and rewinding even further back, my mother says, look, I'm an only girl. I have 2 brothers. Okay. So I always played by myself, and then she says, growing up, she would see me play with my grandmother's chickens.
Wow.
But I would always be like the teacher, and I was teaching them, and so she thought I was going to be a teacher. And now that she sees how the journey has gone, she's like, okay, so she liked attention, this one. Yeah. She always had to be the one in front.
Yeah.
Did
you give the chicken names?
I don't remember. I don't know. I probably did.
Awesome. So post-matric, you were invited. So
yes.
The door was wide open.
Yes. Thank goodness.
So did you go through the door?
I did. Thank goodness I passed.
Yeah.
And I did all the to study drama, you don't really have to have studied this, that, or the other. Yes. But I'd studied in high school subjects that are helpful You know, I did
In
history,
pursuing, yes.
which, and obviously languages. History helps you analyze situations and all of that. And it's good to remember actual historical events, because when
Yes.
you play a role, you have to place this person in a space where you are historically correct.
Correct.
You know, so I did what everyone else did, sent in an application. I was accepted based on my my results, but now because I had had a prior invite,
Yeah.
just like, here I am.
Yeah.
Show me to my desk. They're like, what? No. Shoes off. Everyone on stage. You know? So,
And
yeah.
how long were you there for?
I did 4 years. So, you know, you can do your 3 years and you get your diploma and you can go back into your 4th year, which is your BTech. So I did that. I did the 4 years straight, which was, sure, it's amazing how when you're a teenager, you think you know it all and you have your life, you know, summed up. But I think I discovered who I really am when I was doing my undergraduate studies.
Can you delve a bit deeper into that?
Yeah, I mean, I got my first boyfriend then.
Okay.
I lived outside of the home for the first time because I lived at Res. And you make friends and you realize that decisions that you make, no one's going to say, "Ke ngwana mang ola."
Yeah.
You know, they're going to say, Bathabile, this is where you're wrong. So you learn to take responsibility for your actions. I discovered talents that I didn't know I had. To be honest with you, for the longest time, I always thought, and I think I still believe that, and it's a pity that I've not pursued that. I think I'm a more talented writer than I am an actor, yeah. But it's easier for me to trust the acting because then I've had the training for it. You know.
That's interesting. I mean, careers or spheres pertaining to the arts, acting, singing, etc. Because it's such a strong innate talent.
Yeah.
Do you believe it's necessary to go to school for it, to go to a drama school, to go to a singing teacher to teach you vocals, etc.? Do you think it's necessary, or can you just ride on talent and thrive?
It's very important to get some kind of training. Not all of us are going to end up with degrees,
Yes.
but it's very important that you invest in it. It's just like a runner runs every single day.
Yes.
You need to be able to sing every day if that's what you do. You need to be able to paint every day if that's what you do.
Yeah.
But training gives you technique that no one will take away from you. It's there. So it's a soft spot to fall on. You have techniques, so you're easier to work with. People don't have to explain certain things to you.
Yes.
You know what.
Jargon as well, all of that.
Exactly. And you learn how to place. There are certain things that we do naturally. No one teaches you where to place your voice when you're speaking. But something strange happens once you're on stage. You feel you need to speak. I don't know, you place it differently because you want that person right in the back of the room to hear you. But now you were taught that, look, this is what you do naturally. Be aware of where your voice is naturally. So you don't strain, you don't go, and, you know, things like that. You learn how to take care of it. You learn how important it is, how your actual physical body, your physical health affects your voice, and things like that are important that you don't think about.
Yeah, that you wouldn't know if you haven't been through the process of training.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it teaches you a level of discipline. You know, I know I was late coming here.
It's
But
okay.
you know, I know the moment you realize you're going to be late, then you let people know.
Exactly.
So that no one is waiting around for you and you're not there.
Exactly.
You know, little things like that. You learn discipline. You learn how
And professionalism.
Oh, goodness, stories we could tell. You learn how to respect everybody else's craft. You know, because we're all working towards the same goal. It's very important that you get some kind of training.
Wonderful. And post the years that you did at tertiary, honing your craft and polishing your gift, what happened then? Did you get your first big break? Did you have to wait a couple of years? What happened post getting your qualifications?
I've been fortunate that I got my agent while I was still at Tech.
Yes.
But because I was studying full time, then I understood not to take work. But while I was at Tech, I already knew that there's someone waiting for me to to mature and to graduate to take me on. So I was lucky in that sense. And also, a friend of mine who was also a year ahead of me told me about auditions. You know, so as soon as I was done, then I started going to auditions.
Yes.
You know, when you're still new, you're working for pocket money. You don't know, you're 20, 21, really, you know.
You're looking for experience more
more than anything, you're still working for the love of the arts.
Yeah. Love.
Which I won against. Don't do that. But then, because also I was still young, I decided to take, time off, do what young people do, travel a little bit and all of that. But coming back, then I still had, I had my agent, I had people that I had worked for before, so I just made a phone call. It's not everybody's story.
Yeah, definitely.
It is a tough industry. You have got to want to be in it. You have got to want to be here. Not for the fame, not for anything else, but just as much as a doctor wakes up in the morning or a teacher wakes up in the morning and goes, we also have a special kind of calling.
And I guess we talk about the professionalism. Sometimes the arts are viewed in a sense that it's not really business. Kiho would be like, oh, what actor you act? It's almost like something you're expected to do on the side, you know. And so in terms of support and reception from friends, family, etc. What was the reaction when you told them, I want to be an actor?
I think I'm the only one who was surprised by it. Honestly speaking, I did not see it as a path that I knew I was a bit of a creative spirit, and a bit on the odd side. But I did not think. In fact, I didn't know until later on in high school when my teacher talked to me that you could actually take this on as a full-time career and actually study towards it. I had no idea. But everyone else, I think they were not surprised. Because again, I would write from time to time essays, little things like that.
So they always sense the creative spirit in you.
Yes.
Okay.
My father, the only thing is that he was disappointed because he was hoping for a lawyer and a doctor, and he didn't get that. Shame.
But at least you get to play. You'll play a lawyer, you'll play a doctor. So he still wins.
Yes. And I hear young actors, other actors who are even much younger than me who say, "Ooh, now my parents will," and I'm glad that then my father just thought, "Okay, well, whatever, it's your life. If you wanna go waste it, get a sketch." Yeah.
And then your first big break. I mean, there's a big break for everybody. What was that for you?
My first big break was Generations.
Okay.
It was back in 2006.
Okay.
I was there for a little under 2 years. I played the role of Magda.
Magda, yes.
Started small. At Generations, I was meant to have been there for maybe 3 years. 3 years of actual shooting. Okay. 3 days rather. And before 3 days.
Okay.
And they kept calling.
Calling, we want Magda.
And one day, because we started, Magda was a domestic worker, and she and her other domestic worker friends, including Ketiwe, played by Winnie Machaba at the time, started a business, a small business where they were making name tags.
Yes.
And
I remember.
You remember? Yeah. And I think when we started, there were like, maybe 6 of us. And as the number went down, there were at the end maybe 3 of us, but we were the 3 that kept being called again and again. And one day they'd all disappeared. It was just Magda and Katie. And one time I remember Costas, he was a production manager at the time. He called me into his office and he says, "You're still here."
Yeah.
We don't know.
How?
I mean, 3 days was like over a year ago. And you're still here. We don't know what to do with you.
Wow.
We don't know what to do with you. So here's the thing. You're here, you've been here for a while, so we're going to have to give you a storyline.
Wow.
I was like, contracts are coming out, we're sharpening pencils, and it was beautiful. I was young, and I appreciate it.
I mean, your latest character, Grace Midubi, is way different from a Magda.
Yes.
So in terms of getting into the psyche of a character and playing the character, what's that process? I mean, from playing a domestic worker to a businesswoman who owns a hotel, it's quite a gap.
Yeah.
So what do you do to get into the psyche of the character so that you can nail it, you can bring your A game?
It's so tough. Just not so long ago, my manager Melissa and I were talking about how artists don't know, even artists don't understand what artists do. It comes naturally to be able to get into character because one, we hope that you have the talent, and two, you've had some training or experience, right? But it starts with research. You need to understand who this person is. You understand what their journey is. Sometimes you're given a backstory, other times you're not. If you're not given a backstory, then you make one up. That will you need to be able to explain why they are saying what they're saying, when they're saying it. You need to understand the relationship with other people that you get to play with. And empathize. You need to be able to understand your character and empathize. You cannot be judgmental because then, once you understand all of those things, then you understand this person. Whether you like them or not is irrelevant. The viewer or the audience, they don't care about that. They want you to be able to give justice to this role. So you do that. It comes from a place of understanding. When you understand, it's easy to then I don't want to say impersonate, but live the truth. It's a difficult thing to explain.
I'm trying to view it from your point of view. So let's say you get a casting to say you're going to play this particular lady. For instance, I mean, you go to events, you meet a lot of people. Would you have a particular lady, like, I met this business lady one time, and she could, and you take something from her, or you've interacted with a domestic worker, you've got maybe a domestic worker aunt, and then you take a bit of her. Yeah. Is that part of the process as well?
Not necessarily. When you're lost, or you feel, I'll give you an example. You get something that maybe this person is agitated. You sense it, but it's not clear in the script. It does not say in the script this person is agitated. Yes. But as you're reading them, you feel this person is agitated, but you don't know how to portray it, or you think that you understand that you need to zone into one specific thing. Then you see someone by chance at the park and like, that mannerism, I'm going to steal that for this role. It happens. Okay. But sometimes, especially if your writer is a good writer, it's all in the pages. You must just find it. It's there.
Beautiful, beautiful. And your favorite role that you've played so far? I mean, you've played, you said domestic worker, businesswoman, but there have been other roles in between. I believe stage plays as well. But what has been your favorite role? The one that spoke to you on a deeper sense as well?
I love all of my characters, all of them. Grace Midupi, I love a lot because she is nothing like me. Even though there are a lot of elements, the way I portray her, I mean, she's quiet.
She looks like you.
Yeah, she looks just like me. She stole my look. But the most fun, and I'm saying fun because she was light, was the role I played in Society called Petunia. Her name was Petunia. She was crazy. She was just she was light. I say Grace is nothing like me. This girl is like night and day.
Is it?
She was fun and light, and also because Nelis Srafanyana, I could use words that I wouldn't necessarily use in my everyday language. So I take her with me quite a bit.
That sounds very fun. I mean, do you find that a character allows you to explore a part of you that maybe you wouldn't normally portray in society?
Definitely. And because you draw from your personal experience.
Yes. And now, what's the journey like?
Scary. Especially if it's things that are, Well, no, I mean, people don't know, but sometimes you go into a place in your life. I mean, we all have a story to tell.
Definitely.
So sometimes you have to go to places that you're not proud of to draw from that.
Yes.
And sometimes if the character is going through things that you have never gone through, but you understand the feeling is important, then you associate that feeling with a part in your life that maybe you want to forget or you're just not proud of.
In terms of, I was going through your bio, and you've played quite a few characters that I started wondering to myself, is Bathabile an activist? Because like some of the stuff that maybe Grace went through, there's one you did called You Strike a Woman, You Strike a Rock, and there was another one I can't quite remember, but there was a sense of activism, feminism almost. Is that you? Is that an element of who you are?
That's how I would describe myself, and that's how a lot of people have described me. But I don't choose roles looking for that. I have been fortunate that I have played strong, tough women, even in their softest moments. Even I was telling you about this Road on Society. She's just a girl that you could overlook, but she was a single mother of like 5 children. She has a mother who is just crazy and mad, and a sister who's a drug addict and things like that, and she feels in her small mind, and I'm going to say that because stereotypically that's how people would look at her. She's holding this family together, you know. Grace has this child who is just unbelievable, and that's her weakest spot. She cannot for the life of her control her or control him or even keep him in check. She's kind of scared of him, but yet she's running this multi-million empire. These women have struggles, and I think it looks like that they are, or I'm playing feminist roles, because then I empathize with them. I look at their problems and I pray and hope that I don't cheapen their struggles.
Wow, powerful. You also write. You've mentioned quite a bit. And you also produce and direct, I believe, industrial theater, and you're going into theater as well. How's that different? I mean, it's all under the umbrella of creativity. But what's the major difference between portraying the character and creating the character?
You're touching into something quite challenging there. Acting is hard. It's difficult. But the script is there. You have a director and a producer who already have a vision that they're trusting you to put across, either on stage or on screen. So your job is already half done. Whereas when you're producing, you create this concept. Sometimes for industrial theater, it's already created.
There's a scope of
a company says, look, we have, and for argument's sakes, on the 1st of December, we have AIDS Day. Would like for you to put together a program. So already you know, okay, it's a program, 30 minutes long, on HIV and AIDS awareness. So that's already done. So now you just straight down go to creating the show. But now, when you're producing this, then it's your responsibility to make sure that it's done creatively and financially. You have these people that you're offering employment to. What is a partnership? But they look to you for the financial rewards and things like that. So it's harder. You have a team, that you have to manage and take care of, and this thing can't fail because now you have a business relations with this people who have now hired your services,
trusted you with their brand as well,
with their brand as well. So that's tough. While you're directing, and again, I've only directed industrial theater, but directing journey was short-lived because I'm not a very talented director.
Okay.
And it's very important that you realize
You
that.
have to know
I have
what
to
you're
know
good at.
exactly.
So
But
you can excel in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I look at directors quite differently because before I don't think I lessened, the impact of their work. But there was a time that I thought, oh, I'm producing it. Let me just direct it.
Yeah, it was like, by the way, throwaway type of thing.
Yeah, and half the time you do so because you're trying to, save money because then less money could, But now you realize, I should have gotten someone who really knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad show, but it could have been better, So everyone has their own contribution, and one is irrelevant without the other. Or one is non-existent. You can't have one without the other. So.
Yeah, you touched on something there about the business aspect of it, and it's an area that we mentioned before, but it's an area where a lot of artists lack, because when you're a creative, most creatives were probably bad at maths, bad at accounting, and you just shun all of those things and say, I'm a creative, I'm an actor, I'm a this. But how important is getting at least a good handle or a grasp on the business side of things, so that we don't have a case, there's so many cases of musicians dying without nothing, actors dying without nothing. How do we reverse that trend?
Sure. Earlier on, I said that people shouldn't do art for the sake of that. I wouldn't advise artists to create art for the sake of art. When I was in undergrad, one of my lecturers said that to us, that all of your training you've done here, you've done free shows for the Technicon. Once you're out there, don't do that anymore. Do not act if you're not being paid for it, or if there's no chance for this project to become something else. If it's not an investment, don't do it. The reason we do it is because when I was doing undergrad, institutions of education institutions focused on training us to create art. And they had forgotten or neglected reminding us that it's called show business because it is a business.
It's not just show.
It's not just show.
Business as well.
And I guess then what's important to put across to students is that unlike someone who is selling, who owns a grocery shop, you are the business.
You are the product.
Exactly. So it's hard, and this is where education comes into play, because I'm realizing now things have changed, or things are shifting. We had a class called Arts Administration, and for me it was like standard matric business economics. I don't think that it prepared us for what the industry is, business-wise. Part of the reason why you talked about how I produced and all of that, and it was industrial theater, and I'm trained for theater, so I wanted to go into mainstream theater, and that was a base. But I struggled, as I still am struggling, to make, to cross over, because I am not trained to think that way. It's creative all the way.
And it creates the imbalance.
But it's very important. So then I decided 2 years ago that, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go back to drama school and, do my master's now and learn how to be a businesswoman.
The Grace Mudupinu.
The Grace.
So she's having an effect.
She is. Sure, that woman. But I think we're all like that. We all realize, because we freelance.
Yeah.
You know that, sure, if I'm working now in January, there's a chance that I'll finish in say March, and then I won't have employment. We understand, because we all freelance. Even those of us who work in soapies, we freelance, because those contracts end. There's 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 months. Do you understand? So I went there thinking, in my mind, I went there thinking that they're gonna sit me down and teach me how to put together a proposal, and I'm gonna learn how to pitch and put my books together and all of that. And it's taking a very interesting turn. It's none of that. I am now investigating why is it that there is lack of entrepreneurial activity within the entertainment industry or creative industry as a whole. But I am also learning or rather investigating whether or not entrepreneurship education is important for the arts entrepreneur.
Oh, that's fascinating, and I think it's an area that is needed. We need more information because the trend, like we say, we can't have it going on.
Yeah.
It needs to come to an end.
Yeah. And because artists have entrepreneurial intentions. We do. It's natural. We paint and we draw and we sell those paintings and drawings. So it's a transaction. The only difference is that beyond who my paint has dried, I don't know now how to say, well, give me 100,000 rand for this, or give me 100. What determines how much my painting is worth?
Yeah.
Well, you know. Yeah.
Touch on something quite deep, and it's something that I think every artist as well needs to start investigating, start thinking about.
No, definitely. It's got to be a shift in movement. We can't die poor when we're adding so much value
to society.
Yeah.
Okay, there's young actors and young actresses watching this right now. What do you want to say to them?
Go for it. Go for it. You know what I learned quite late in my career is that you have to decide very early on what type of an artist you want to be. There are those of us who survive just by being the artist, and someone else is much more business-minded, especially these young ones now, because they're exposed to a lot more than we were exposed to. Now they understand they have terms like arts entrepreneurship, words that we did not have. They have social media, and that this brand, they work on their brands and marketing, and they have PR managers and all of that. Understand very early on if that's the route you want to take and you want to be a million, you want to make millions, or if you just want to create art. That determines how you then manage your path and your career. It is very important. You cannot, and I cannot stress this more, you cannot do this if all you want out of it is to be a celebrity, or you want fame, or you want fortune, because then you're in it for the wrong reasons. You'll be here today and gone tomorrow. Either that, or you'll be exploited, because you'll find yourself in a position where you'll do whatever it takes to achieve it. Education, it is so important. If it is not a university degree, there's always schools like Bo Sibigwa Arts Center. I think there's Indigo View. There's a lot of them where you can go. Even at churches, the community groups community halls and
groups,
yes, get some kind of training and invest in it. As I said earlier, runners run every day. Actors should be acting every day. Writers should be writing every day. Things like that. You need to invest in your future.
Wonderful. I almost called you Grace. But Bathabile, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for making time to be with us.
Thank you for having me. I had such fun.
Awesome. That was inspirational. You've been watching Talk with Confidence. This is where we have inspirational conversations with inspirational people. Do tune in again next time right here on Global Conference Television. Hey, tada.